And that's what we've done since day one here.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as going any further with anything on our own, we haven't considered that, or
Well, to be perfectly honest, our feeling is that, the way that it's going right now, it's been, pretty fair and open, and since I've been here.
well, the reason why I asked is I had the privilege to sit on a council meeting in Gloucester Township this week, where the residents had asked their township to adopt a pay-to-play, and they wouldn't consider it or even discuss it, so they put a petition out and got 1,200 signatures that they presented to the council this week, forcing them to vote on a pay-to-play regarding the special services and how much they can contribute and if they can still donate to candidates, etc., or up to a limit. And so they presented it will either, it forces the council to vote on it. The council decides no, it will go to a question on the ballot in November. And just the reading of it and the process of it, I felt was something that I thought we should consider, only because it just takes away any appearance of impropriety that we are hiring services that are donating to our candidates. And it puts a limit on, if they donate so much, they cannot be contracted up to something like 3 to 5 years. And I just wondered if you guys have considered anything, not that you have to, is if you, obviously, you guys don't feel it's warranted.
Well, at this stage, like I said, if you're asking have we discussed it or anything else, the answer is no.
Mayor, I think they did discuss it.
Well,
like in 2009, there was some
way back.
some discussion about it. They looked at it. It was part of the best practices recommendations
from the government
made by the government at that time. And although it's been a recommendation, there's been no statutory imposition on municipalities to do it.
Let me ask you a question, though.
Sure.
Is some of the things that you talked about, some of those things are statutorily required anyway.
Right.
Whether you have that, you go to a pay-to-play, we have the fair and open meeting. All right, we still got to buy probably most of the things you're talking about, if not all of them, are mirrored statutorily already. That's the way I understand it. So we had the best of both worlds. Now, I could be wrong, I'm not a lawyer, so.
One of the things that pay-to-play does, it limits campaign contributions. That's the big thing that it does. It restricts professionals from making campaign contributions beyond a certain pay-to-play limitation.
Right. Well,
But that's in place now anyway.
It is in terms of the overall state contribution limits. It creates another sort of contribution schedule that that triggers if you adopt a pay-to-play ordinance.
Yeah, it technically doesn't limit what they can give. It only keeps them from being contracted if they give. You know what I'm saying? They can still give as much as the law allows them to give.
Yeah, but they can't then.
But then they can't be contracted.
Right.
But they could still give it and not be contracted
Right.
for a certain period of time.
That's the only major significant difference that I see of substance between fair and open and pay-to-play.
Which
That's
is
all.
really where the conflict of
I
interest.
guess the great irony, though, is that the federal courts have said you can't really, you've got campaign contribution limits, but we're not going to impose them because it may violate certain fundamental freedom of speech rights.
Didn't that come up on the federal level where they must respect corporations the same as individuals? Because they were trying to keep corporations from being able to donate, like the American Medical Association, and the court said that it would be a violation of their First Amendment if you kept them from making those kind
But, yeah, that's,
I just wonder where we stay, and one more question, sort of on the, not pay to play, but Gloucester Township, of course, is a different town than us, and they are under the Faulkner Act. What, Pennsauken is not under the Faulkner Act, which is a whole set of guidelines and rules on, a whole different thing on how the township is run and whatnot. Where is Pennsauken's guideline? I mean, we're not under the Faulkner Act, so where do you go to find out,
Title 40A.
what's it called?
Title 40A governs municipal governance.
Okay.
It tells you if whatever form of government, whatever form of structure
Right,
you are.
right, but it's very, I guess, Pennsauken is very, vague, I guess, compared to being under Faulkner, that's very specific on when things have to be done. So we, I guess, are free to pretty much,
Why are they under the Faulkner Act?
I don't know, there's a lot of towns are adopting it because it's, I guess, just because it's a more structured, more open, more.
Know more about it before we
yeah,
can.
I mean.
Yeah, well,
Talk about
it already?
well,
Bring
to
it
be
in.
under,
What's the
to be
beneficial
under the
function?
Faulkner, you would have to
Well, you
change
have
the
to read
whole
that one.
Let David,
form
I'll
of
call up,
government.
I'll
Yeah.
call up, I know the mayor pretty well, I'll call him up.
We'll call up DCA and ask them if the difference or this, that,
I
whatever.
guess.
Yeah, it was started back in the 1900s. I know when several, well, much more, 15 years ago or so, when a group tried to do a petition to try to get the township to a mayor system. That was one of the forms of government under the Faulkner Act. It would have been adopting the Faulkner Act back then. Faulkner Act includes several different types of structures, whether it's a mayor council, a council, or whatnot. And slowly townships or towns seem to be adopting it, but I still think a good portion of the state is not under it. So I just wonder
What benefits would we
Yeah.
divide to, what are the benefits we would get out of that, yeah?
I don't know if it's much of a benefit to the committee as it is to.
Well, we're talking what benefit.
Benefits for the town.
The township is it's a more structured guideline on what is allowed and what is not, what is open and should be,
I think what I would like to know is, I mean, if you want to email us a copy of the Faulkner Act for us to read, we're kind of going in blind.
Well, we
can't
can
talk about
we
something
can
we don't
find
know
a
anything about.
Faulkner Act, that's not the
Yeah.
issue.
But I mean, but if you bring it up for in a public meeting, we need to know more, we can't really even comment.
I
on it.
think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Solicitor, I think whether form of government you have, whether you're under Title 40, I mean, that's kind of the blueprint for everything. Faulkner Act might be an option, I'm assuming, I don't know, you know, I vary. So I would assume that we are operating under proper guidelines by the state laws and things like that, but you're saying it's more structured, it's more, apparently there's something that strikes you about it that you think will work for us.
no, I'm not.
That's why I'm
saying-
just trying to,
Oh, no, I'm just saying they are under the Faulkner, which requires certain procedures to be done. Pennsauken is not, so I don't know,
it could be just.
You don't
the
know
way-
if the procedures are
This would
being
be-
done, is that what you're?
no, I don't even know
Where to find our procedures.
where to find our procedures.
Procedures.
Since we're not under that, are we just,
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Or things are
Well,
under 48.
Or like a SOP.
most of all governmental activity is governed statutorily. Whether it's how you contract, how you bid, when you bid, methodology in bidding, whether it's stuff as Oprah, Open Public Meetings Act. I can't think of many aspects of municipal government that aren't statutory regulated.
Okay. And those things are spelled out in the Title.
States.
Well, if you look under Title 48, forms of government, it lists county, municipal, and you can go through it, and then
It's a
it
good
deals
read.
with public contracting, it deals with public bidding, I mean,
Okay.
it's all laid out there. And there, I can't think of it right, but I recall seeing on the League of Municipalities website a guide or pamphlet that lays out the different forms of government, different forms of municipal government, and how they came into being, and it sort of spells it out. I never looked at it that closely
Right.
because where the township's form of government, but I can't, there are statutory restrictions on how, or statutory rules and regulations on how government operates. And, you know, to the best of my knowledge, we have complied with all those
Oh, well,
statutory
and
regulations.
please, I'm not accusing or saying we haven't done any of that. I just wondered if for some reason, if we decided to do a petition or whatnot, where would we go? When Gloucester Township did theirs, the Faulkner Act was very specific. When they handed it in, the clerk had so many days to approve it, and then it had to come back to here, it had to be this, and after some, I mean, it was very well spelled out. But since we're not under that, where would we go to even know how to do something like
I mean,
that,
there-
or
there-
anything else?
I mean, I refer to Title 48, but Title 48 sets forth even they talk about the position of the municipal clerk. They
Okay.
talk about the position of the township administrator, how these beings are appointed and who they're answerable to. So you'd have to kind of cull through the statutes
Sure.
to put it all together. My suggestion is, I would look at the League of Municipality website. I apologize, I don't remember where specifically. It's in the publication
worries.
section, I think.
No, it's
But it
okay.
does provide some guidance on
Okay.
these various forms of municipal government, how they came into being, how they're structured, et cetera.
Okay.
There's also a website for looking up statutes, and all you have to do is put in a keyword, and you'll get
Okay.
every statute that has anything to do with that. So if you put in petition, it'll tell you all the statutes that have anything to do with petition, whether it's electoral or, you know, whatever it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Any other comments?
Donna, 07665 Buttermilk Avenue. I'm probably one of the few residents in Pennsauken that gets a copy every week of the Metro. But I did not see this special meeting on February 13th. I did see the ordinance for, where we're not gonna follow the government if it's not federal. I did see that.
It was not, it was noticed as.
I didn't see, could you?
There's
There's no requirement to publish.
I know,
What we did is you send it, I think, I don't mean to usurp anything.
Go
Gee,
ahead.
I noticed the retrospect, I noticed the carrier, and also the inquiry, even though we don't have to. It was posted in the hallway, and it was on the website.
you have to notice, but you know what, you're not under obligation to publish.
I thought we were still under the obligation to publish in least, in 2 pages published in the state,
No, just noticed.
just noticed. Could someone tell me what the special meeting was on the 13th?
Yeah.
What was regarding?
Sure, we passed the resolution to approve the grant, going for the Green Acres for the place on Cooper Avenue.
Meadowbrook?
For the meeting that was for last week from
That was part of the requirements, was to have a
public
open
meeting
meeting.
first.
And another one of the requirements and why for the special meeting was an ordinance had to be done before Wednesday.
Resolution.
Yeah.
Had to be read and approved. And adopted so that it would go with the package to see or not, see if not, we would get the grant.